Sam is a teacher by trade who decided to disrupt the industry and go down the path of educating and equipping children and therefore adults and parents with his skills and education around meditation. Now, I want to tell you, for so many of us, we hear the word meditation and we have a constructive view of what that actually is. But Sam comes to teach us and certainly educate me on the true meaning of meditation and the impact that it can have on our complete well-being. Enjoy. All right. Well, Sam, it's lovely to have you on my couch.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Yes, a long time coming. Just, I guess, a bit of background of you and I. We met at a networking event. And I have to be honest, I never wanted to go to the networking event because I don't like them. And it was my husband that was like, come on, you should go. It might be good.
Yes.
And then obviously I got sat at the table with you and other people, but and we just kind of connected, and the rest is history, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stayed in contact, and I've been watching what you've been doing in your space because you've had a bit of change since I met you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So just for the audience, do you want to give us a little bit of the Sam story?
Yeah.
Go back as far as you need to or as short as you want to, personally and professionally.
Yeah, thank you. It's so good to be here. Thanks for having me on. The quick story is I'm a teacher by trade. So it started in the Department of Education. I was a classroom teacher, primary school, and started teaching for a lot of science. I wanted to teach the kids the magic of that. And because it wasn't something I discovered until like my adulthood, and a few years in, I was loving it. That was when science was quite big in the department. So it was this cross-curricular approach to how we teach science and the scientific method. And then things started to get a little bit tricky, well-being-wise, for me. And in hindsight, I was burning out.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't really realize it at the time. And during that point, found out about the science of meditation and thought, well, if this is true, then we're going to give it a go. And I kind of wanted to disprove it because, real skeptic, was kind of resentful. Like, well, it can't be that easy. Like, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling that way. I've got a whole class full of kids who, trauma is just coming in and out every day. And there was just a lot going on in my head and in their heads back then. Tried meditation, and within a week we started noticing things in class. And then within 3 weeks,
you tried it in the classroom, not even just for yourself.
No, yeah, I was trying to help the kids.
Yeah, wow.
And I thought, well, if the science was true, let's see what happens. I never expected it to work, and it did. Yeah, so it was like obviously lots of trial and error, and it wasn't these amazing turnarounds in a short amount of time, but it was just these little wins.
Yeah.
And it had been a long time since I'd seen any little wins.
Yeah, wow.
So effortlessly. Like a little win required so much work and so much grit, and meditation was the way I was teaching it was a skill set approach. I was teaching the skills. I was teaching the concrete tools behind it and approaching it in that way. But then, like you say, a couple of weeks in, I started to realize, I'm really going to need to start doing this myself properly, because I was sort of experimenting with it.
Yeah. They were guinea pigs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We all were. Yeah. And then as soon as I started doing that, that opened up just this whole pathway of, inner work and understanding what meditation is, and beyond, a strategy to calm yourself down.
Yeah, okay.
And fast forward 6 years later, it's still with me, and my mission has become to normalize meditation, not just in the education world, but culturally, because we need it, especially in Australia.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So you're a teacher, things are getting pretty, hairy for you, and you think, I'm going to try something different. So what was the response like from the leadership and your peers, like when you go, all right, this mad scientist is going to give something else a crap? Like, what was the...
I already had the rep probably as the mad scientist.
Did
because
you?
I had
like a mad scientist.
I was, I think I was kind of known for as, the teacher who probably took on more than probably needed to, but did things a little bit differently. Like I never liked being a lecturer at the front of the class. I never liked that old school style of teaching. It was all about coming up with the projects that kids were passionate about and figuring out how then to work that into the curriculum. So I always did things a little bit differently. And so they trusted me, like I'd sort of earned that trust. So I was kind of left to my own devices.
Okay.
At the same time, when you're a teacher who develops that skill set of instilling really good relationships and building good relationships with students and families, you tend to get a lot of the children that need that, which brings a lot of trauma into the classroom. And as a teacher, you're never going to say, no, like I can't take that kid. Or so you're always willing to say yes, but it makes it so complicated in the classroom environment. And that's what leads to burnout. So that's what we see our great educators just starting to fall out of love with the practice because it becomes more behavior management.
Yeah.
And if you're not balancing those scales with your own well-being, then burnout happens really, really quickly. And we're seeing that at the moment in the teaching world.
I mean, I'm even hearing in my clinic, like teachers coming and they're like, I need out because it's not like they say, not like it used to be. Right?
That's right.
Which is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a really big fat problem.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And it's a indication of something larger happening as well. We're known as the burnout nation. Like 1 in 2 people are experiencing burnout or have already gone through it. And
like yourself, do you feel like people don't know that they're in burnout?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's what I see as well. I hear people's language, and I mean, I'm not here to diagnose burnout, but I hear language and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's so obvious from the outside, but when you're in it, it's fog.
Yeah. I use the analogy of we've normalized mass drowning. So we're all just drowning, and we all just, the very best option is getting back up to the surface. But then everyone's still thrashing around, you're still in the chaos, and you just end up drowning again. And we're all doing that together, and it's normalized. Yeah. Whereas what we should be aiming for is to get out of the water.
Get out of the water. At least get some floaties and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, I guess, the science of meditation, right?
Yeah.
I want to hear like how you got out of the education department, but I'm curious just to start on that mad scientist mind of yours.
Yeah. So to go back into the classroom, the leadership started noticing around about 6 months that the behavior was starting to decrease in the classroom. So they were seeing from their point of view less behaviors in the yard, and it seemed quieter in the classroom when they did their visits. And they started asking questions, and I just put meditation at the front. I was like, this is what we're doing. It's meditation. This is science. So they asked me to come and present what they were doing, and even like run a few staff meetings for the staff. And this is probably the hardest I'd ever worked as a teacher. And this is how I stepped into the wellbeing leadership roles. But it was so easy because once you are in alignment with your purpose, once you have that motivation, it was so easy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so the science was there's a lot more. We're talking 6 years ago now.
And there's a lot from
really, really quickly in a short space amount of time. And this back then, what we were really just focusing on is the nervous system, but also what happens in the brain when you meditate for a certain amount of time. So it requires consistency.
If you've been listening and watching to this podcast and thinking, I really like what is going on here, there's a high chance that you're going to love my app. 360 Woman app was created for you and me, for the woman, the wife, the mother who just wants some personal growth, who wants to understand themselves, who wants to pursue themselves. So don't stop here at the podcast. Jump on over to 360 Woman, download the app, and I promise you won't be disappointed. The link is in the description of the podcast. Easy to find. I'll see you there.
This is why it's so important for us to normalize it in schools, because we can work it into our routines. Our kids spend so long at schools. We can easily have it consistently happening in our routines in the class. So we know that more connections are made in the brain, specifically within the prefrontal cortex. So we know that we begin to think a lot more clearer, a lot more logically. We know that it affects traits, so behaviors. It'll start to in a way, like iron out the reactionary behaviors, and we start responding more. And that's because it's decreasing the emotional responses in the brain, because
it's
again,
quietening everything.
It is, yeah.
Everything down.
And that's part of what leads to one of the misconceptions is that, well, that's how I talk about it too. It quietens the brain down, but that doesn't mean there are less thoughts going on. It's not and like an audio quieting down.
Mm-hmm.
It's an action. It's the amount of neurons that are firing at any given time. It's that way that we launch into survival mode. It's calming the survival mode down and allowing the thrive state, to the healthy stress, to fire up,
take over.
Yeah, and that's busy. That's that's loud.
Yeah,
but it is calm compared to thrashing around and drowning.
Yeah.
And
and I love that, because I think, even for someone like me, I've had a love-hate with meditation, or a misconception, right? Because I think the word meditation has been overused. Do you mean, or used in the sense of it's this right?
Yeah.
And I know it's not that.
Yeah.
And you obviously, but I think for general people, when they think meditation, it's yoga, not thinking. And I don't know if I've been terrible at those things. I'm always thinking, what am I going to have for dinner tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love what you say about it's not your mind stops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think, for a lot of us, we don't really have the grasp of what meditation is.
Spot on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I spent the first probably 2 years trying to knuckle down on. As a teacher, and I still am really big on language. So I always want to make sure the language that we're using is clear and that we're all on the same page. Because like you said, we'll have receptions coming into schools, and they'll hold up the hands in that classic meditation pose as soon as I mention meditation, and they'll cross their legs and close their eyes. So it's conditioned into us, this misconception at an early age.
Taught, but it's not actually.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bit of a joke as well.
Yes, it's you see kids or even adults, right?
Yeah.
There's a flippancy in it.
Yeah, that's right.
A mockery almost.
Yeah, which is so ironic, because it's the very thing that we need to get out of this cycle of distress. But we joke about it, and we don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
And then we don't end up plugging in those self-care methods that are going to circuit break the distress.
Yeah. And I think also you probably see this a lot, but I also, when people are in crisis, right, and having to learn how to create meditation practices, it's the worst time to learn.
Definitely. Yeah.
It has been in my life. The worst time to learn.
Yeah.
But that's when a lot of people go, all right, I need to meditate, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. And it's kind of like, wow, we kind of missed the boat a few months ago.
Yeah.
And
that's why these conversations are so important, because we will take our car in for a service at the mechanic, we'll recharge the phone, we do all these things for all these other things that we own, but we don't do it for the most valuable machine system that we have, and that's our body. And we need to maintain it. We need to provide it care on an ongoing basis. It's like just waiting. It's like missing all these services and then trying to get your car into the mechanic when it's broken down.
Yeah, correct.
Like I say, it's too late.
6 weeks.
That's it. Yeah. And you're going to waste more time. And you're going to be out of action for longer. So these little stints of time, which, the science says we can start at 8 minutes. 8 minutes a day.
8 minutes.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
It's a magic number.
Yeah, that's right. That's a great starting point. And for some people, even 8 minutes is a lot to wedge out. But once you get into the
there'll be some people watching this and listening going, 8 minutes? I'll then give it 1,
But again, even that, just if that's you listening, take a moment to pause and think about that. You don't have 8 minutes a day to look after the only thing that matters, your health. Without your health, then nothing else is going to happen. Nothing else is going to work. Nothing else is going to matter. So 8 minutes, start there. And
I mean, people go to the gym for a 45-minute class, kill themselves on that.
That's right.
8 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you open up your data wellbeing app on your phone and you're scrolling for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you did a couple of years in the classroom, kind of trying to convert, I guess, the environment. Then did you step into, you said wellbeing?
Yes.
Like a leadership role?
So off the back of what we worked on with the meditation in classrooms, and I was working with my co-teacher as well. So she was amazing. She was a newish teacher, so she was kind of along for the ride. So it was her and I just enjoying this trip together. And like I said, it was also effortless. A lot of work, but effortless.
Sorry, can I just interrupt? How did it change your personal life? Like, you're doing this in the classroom, you're obviously researching and like evolving yourself in this newfound thing. How did that impact you and your own life? What was if you look back at yourself and go, what the most significant change in the early days was this?
It still happens every day. Like, meditation is still changing me personally every day. Back then, so we're talking 2018, 19. And then our daughter was young at that stage. We hadn't had our second son by then. I was so judgmental. That's how I found value in the world. I needed to be right. And that's kind of what being a teacher was kind of about too, because you get to be the expert, I think.
I'm the boss.
I'm the boss. Yeah, that's right. I've very, very quickly, very, very early on in the journey, I started letting that go more. Not out of, I never knew that was going to happen, but that was what was a crutch for me, is needing to be right. And
do you think that had been something that had been conditioned into you?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you might not have even been aware that was a big driver in your life.
No.
Until meditation went knock, knock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So I might be jumping ahead, but I define meditation now as exercise for your focus. So it'll strengthen your focus. So then you're effortlessly and naturally able to focus on what is inhibiting you from health, from functioning as you.
Right.
And these crutches, these filters distort things for you and stop you from seeing things as they are. And again, I didn't know this at the time. Like, this is all new language. That's right. Yeah. And I spent 5 years trying to figure out what happened. I was like, what? How did that change me so quickly?
Wow.
So for me, that was, and it might sound a little bit abstract to people, but that was the biggest thing for me, was that I quickly realized that I needed to be right in any relationship, in any environment. And I was so focused on being right that I was missing out on all this other stuff. And I had so much value around this idea of being right. I thought it was a good thing. I thought people would appreciate me being right. I thought people would appreciate my opinions all the time and want to hear my judgments, because I thought that's what people valued. But they don't. And
they probably didn't tell you they didn't.
No,
but
that's
to
right.
be like,
yeah,
wow.
And as soon as that started to click, I was like, wow, that's why I've had certain problems with mates and with my relationships.
Yeah, okay, like just the common denominator.
Yeah, that's right. And like I said, a daughter was 3 at the time, and that was the biggest thing for me. Like, I don't want to condition this into her.
Yeah, right.
Like it was conditioned into me. And then you become so grateful for being able to see it. You also become grateful for the conditioning, because it's a huge learning process. And without being conditioned into that, you miss out on all this learning. So this gratitude starts to seep in through everything as well. And it just becomes this melting pot of release. And again, like I said,
a bit of an awakening, right?
That's it. Yeah. And that's why that word exists. That's why, when people talk about enlightenment, all this sort of stuff, it's for me, it's just been this slow untangling of what you're programmed to think and say and behave like. And and what's left is who you are.
Yeah, wow.
And again, like, I'm making mistakes every day. I made mistakes this morning as a dad, but it's your relationship with those mistakes that begin to change. And without that consistent practice of meditation, I would still be that judgmental, reactive, grumpy dad, grumpy husband, who was overworked, who did not understand work-life balance, who did not understand the importance of showing up with love, because I thought I had to be right.
So it had huge impact on your marriage?
Huge. Yeah, huge. And I was always really careful from the start not to be really preachy about it. Laura, my wife, would probably say, you were. So
let's call it what it is. Yeah.
It's all you were banging on about.
When you're going through something that's radically changing you and you kind of want everyone to know about it.
That's right.
Right? It's not, and it comes from that place of like, no, you don't understand. This is amazing. And you want it for them.
That's right. And I was really lucky, I found it in the classroom and I was using it in the classroom. So that was kind of my output for it. So when I got home, I remember putting in a lot of effort just into not trying to convince Lauren to do anything, because we model the behavior that's around us. We model the behavior from the ones that we love, especially our kids, especially students, and especially our partners. So I knew a few months in that if this keeps going the way it's going, then I think Lauren's going to start meditating as well. And I'm not sure like how long it was, because there was never like a conversation about it, but she did. And now she meditates as well. And it's become this normalized thing in our house.
Right.
And a couple months ago, my 4-year-old son just jumped in with me and sat with me for 20 minutes. Like he just sat with me. And
wow,
it's crazy. Yeah.
So can I ask you what's probably going to sound like a silly question, but what do you do like for 8 minutes? Like what is like, dumb it down for us.
Yeah.
I hope you're really enjoying the content that you're listening to and watching today. If you are loving this podcast, I need your help. Please like and subscribe and share this with anyone and everyone that you think will really benefit from this. This will help me grow the podcast for content, for guests, and for lots of other things that I have planned. Keep enjoying. Where would someone start?
Yeah.
What does it look like? Because we know it's not this.
Yeah.
Right? Where would someone start?
So just going back to definition. So meditation I define as exercise for your focus.
Yeah.
That's a working definition to get us to ease the relationship with meditation.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, many people's relationship with meditation is a toxic one.
Yeah.
Or it's one of resentment or unhelpful.
I have to.
Yeah.
Like if I want to get better or if I want this to change, I have to do this as opposed to I get to do this.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And whenever there's an I have to,
that's right.
Shake.
Yeah. And it might work for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but it won't.
You're always going to fall off the wagon. And like I said at the outset, consistency is key. That's what the science tells us.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel better. You're gonna have spikes of the feel good hormones, and you're gonna notice that, and you're gonna be bouncing around. But if you don't, that won't translate into trait behavior. That won't lead into behavioral change unless the consistency is there.
Okay.
It's like anything. It's like sport. It's like learning any new skill.
Put in.
Yeah. You can get better, but unless you practice, those skills are gonna drop off at some point. The difference here is that we're talking about you. We're talking about your well-being, your mental health, your behavior, your relationships. So there's never been a more important skill to just click into our day. And there's different variations of it. So going back, meditation is exercise for your focus. Stepping out of that even more generally, the word meditation is like the word sports. So we don't say, I play, or if we say I play sport, the follow-up question is, what do you play? And then even then, like there's subsets or we're trying to figure out what kind of basketball you play or whatever it is. And the same things with meditation. So meditation is that general word, and there are so many techniques within meditation. We've been a little bit mindfulness washed. So we think mindfulness is meditation.
Yeah.
Mindfulness is another word for awareness. And meditation, again, is exercise for your focus. Focus is that, if we think of awareness as that big spotlight, focus is the torchlight within that spotlight. So focus is where you are specifically shining your conscious focus within that general awareness. Like I know generally that I'm within a room, but my focus is on you in the room.
Right.
So again, the ability to strengthen that focus is key, because most of us have an unfit focus, and it's focusing on all these things that are eroding our well-being and helpful.
Well, I just think now, as you're talking about it, I'm like, focus is a problem for most humans.
That's right.
Always toggling between different things, juggling the balls.
Now more than ever, because of the devices that are always attached to us.
Correct. And we can't do one job and finish it. Because what about, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a great example. It's the classic example.
Okay, so it's that like piercing focus.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So coming back to what people can do, now they've got those definitions in place.
I love that.
And another thing, just to try and ease that relationship, is try to think of meditation as the same thing as having a shower in the morning, but it's a shower for your mind.
Yeah, okay.
You are preparing for the doing of your day. It's not something to switch the brain off. It's not something that you want to use to go to sleep. You can use techniques for that, but that shouldn't be its primary function. You want meditation to get you ready for whatever you're about to do next. So I meditated in the car before I came here to get ready so I could show up as my best self.
Right.
I love meditating. So I meditate twice a day for 20 minutes. I've worked up to that over years and years.
That's impressive.
And yeah, well, it's a practice. And once you start seeing the benefits, it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So I love, meditating again at, 2:30, 3 o'clock, like before school pickup, because I'm changing hats from working to a husband and a father again.
Yeah.
And I want to show up for in the best way I can at home. I don't want to take all that work stuff home with me. I don't want to be complaining to Lauren about what's happened in my day. I want to show up as me. And not drag all that distress in with me, because the distress is contagious, and they'll pick it up at home. So that's the idea of meditation. It's to help set you up for your doing, to help set you up for your performance. The more you see it as a performance enhancer, the easier it is to click it into your day. Because when
even that language, even for me, I might, that can fire you up a bit more, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Because, who doesn't want to perform?
That's right. And if a meeting doesn't go as well as you'd hoped, and you haven't meditated, you start connecting the dots. You're like, oh, I should have meditated beforehand. The more we realize that meditation enhances performance, the easier it is to begin plugging it into your day consistently. Because I keep going back to what you said, because as a meditation teacher, what I found was it comes back to coaching the habit. Like it's actually super. I can teach you how to meditate in 10 minutes. That's the easy part. It's coaching people to do it consistently, because we trick ourselves into thinking we don't need it. So the more that we can see the connection between performance and meditation, just like the more we can see the connection between, feeling clean and fresh in the shower.
Yeah, correct. It's the association.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think, we kind of live in similar worlds, but I find for a lot of humans, and I mean, myself included, it's really hard to continually do the work. And we're always trying to find quick ways out of it. Because we're too busy, and it's like, I skip that or skim that off or whatever, which is this societal treadmill, right? And I say to people, like, day in, day out in my office, you got to choose to do the work. You don't have to. But if you don't, this will probably be what it looks like. And so it's the same as what you're talking about, is that association with, if I choose to do the work, then the results will show. Exactly. And my relationships, which I love what you were talking about with your own family and the impact of that. Because there's one thing to want to be successful and achieve things in our life professionally and all the things, but relationships is the world I live in a lot of, where the breakdowns are so massive. And you're sitting here saying science says that 8 minutes a day has huge impact and benefits and possibility on people's lives. And I go, 8 minutes, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. Even if you just want to chunk it up into 2 lots of 4 to start with. Yeah. Right. We can do that too. Yeah.
Right.
It's this idea of the perfect prisoner that meditation helps you just see so clearly. Like, as I was hearing you talk then, I see that perfect prisoner in all of us. So the perfect prisoner is this prisoner who not only doesn't realize they're imprisoned, but also upholds the prison rules. It loves the prison. It thinks that the prison is right, and it invites other prisoners into the prison. We have been conditioned into thinking that overworking, that burnout is overwork's normal, burnout's normal. We've been conditioned into thinking, having a Panadol every second day is normal. We've been conditioned into thinking living off coffee is normal. And all of these things, like, one of those things for the listeners is probably going to cut a little bit deep. Like, oh, don't talk about my coffee. I need it. Yeah, wine.
Yeah, alcohol.
And again, it's a sign of being a perfect prisoner, that we have been conditioned and programmed without us realizing it into this culture that burns itself out literally. And we are now seeing the downfall of that. But also, we're waking up to it. It's much less challenging now to try and explain to even a really successful person in the corporate world why looking after yourself or why providing yourself self-care is important, because everyone's hit that wall now.
Yeah.
And we've gotten to a point where, like, well, what's the purpose?
Is this it?
Is this it?
And do you think, obviously you're a teacher, and so kids these days are much more anxious than they were 10, 20 years ago. But I feel like the wake-up culture is actually from a parent's point of view as well, because we've got parents that have got kids who are 4, 5, 6, 10, 13 with anxiety and, not coping in life. And so parents are like, I need to fix that. I need to help them, right? And it's easier to help kids because we're wired to, we'll do whatever it takes. Then inadvertently we have to do the work ourselves.
It's a conversation I have every week with parents or families. The question is, like, what can I do for my kids? Like, how do I help them?
Help yourself first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You need to do it yourself.
Yeah.
My kids would be so much more distressed if I was still coming home as distressed as I was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I would have raised them like that.
Yeah.
And that, it sounds like we're blaming parents, but we're not.
No, not at all.
Parents are just as much
doing the best that we think we can do, right?
That's right.
And we often don't know better.
Exactly.
Until we do.
We're the perfect prisoner.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Until there's that diagnosis, until there's that going to the doctor and going, I'm not sleeping, I'm not right. So, and I guess what you're saying is we want to get people before then.
That's right. Yeah. So when I started in schools, it was always, I'm never going to teach reception because that's terrifying. Like, I don't want to teach reception. You're like, I know, right? But I love the older kids. I love doing all like crazy projects, and I loved all that stuff. My last year in class was when I was running this program and really piloting it. In terms of the meditation, I ended up in reception because, all year, because they come in sponges, they come in ready to learn, and we can instill these routines and understandings in them at a very early age. And it's not just this flippant comment of take a breath. Take a breath becomes, I know how to take a breath. I know how to take a breath for my parasympathetic nervous system. I know how to breathe when I'm feeling angry. I know how to breathe when I'm feeling joy. I know how to breathe when I notice that someone else is affecting me in this way. So take a breath has a lot of power behind it, as long as we know the skills that sits under those three words.
It's not just that throwaway line.
That's right. And people will hear it and it's about whatever, like, okay, I'll take a breath, but that doesn't really address the problem. It doesn't necessarily address the problem, but you are giving yourself even just 30 seconds of that self-care. You're teaching your nervous system that you can be in control, and it doesn't have to be on an automatic guidance system. And when we can get those skills embedded into reception, even earlier than that, earlier the better.
Yeah.
We they stick with the kids. So I see a lot of those kids now. So again, this was going back to 2020. So what are we looking at now? 5 years ago? That's crazy, isn't it? So I'll see a lot of those kids in high school now, and they don't meditate, so the consistency has fallen off, but they remember. They remember that's what we worked on from reception. Like, I don't remember what I did in reception, but they're talking about remembering how to breathe. They remembered how calm the class was. We always circled up and had these conversations after the meditation. So they will come up to me and tell me that they remember that stuff. Some of them are now going through things like as teenagers. They're actually asking me, "Oh, can we start? Like, how do I do it again? Like, what do I need to do?" Because they connect with what we did all that time ago.
Made them feel different.
Yeah, with being beneficial. So again, that's like a big macro version of what we were trying to talk about before in our days, like getting that consistency and seeing the connection between, I do this thing, it's super easy, it literally looks like I'm doing nothing, and my performance gets better for it.
Yeah.
The kids notice this, we can notice it as adults. It's just we're more entrenched in our habits, we're more entrenched as conditioning. We've been in the prison longer, so we are going to support the prison longer because we're the perfect prisoner. We just need to keep coming back to this idea that it's not about pointing the finger. It's not a blame game. As parents, like you said, we're doing the best we can, but also we are leaders in our household, and what we lead is a choice, and
they will follow.
That's right. They will unconditionally follow you
based
on what you show them is valuable. And if I hadn't have found meditation when I did, I would have been showing my kids that all this reactive agitated behavior is valuable. And then that would have bled into all of their experiences.
And almost normalizing stress, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Normalizing that. So if parents are listening to this, right, and they're like, oh.
Another thing I have to do.
Right. What's a really good fundamental start? Because you said obviously meditation is like this, the umbrella. There's so many different practices.
Yeah.
What would be your go-to for someone who they're like, all right, Sam, I'll give it a crack?
Yep. Come back to that question. So if exercise is meditation is exercise for focus, before any exercise, we know we need a warm up. So I always start with a warm up, and the warm up is the breath.
Okay.
And the breath is kind of intermingled now with meditation. We think of it's like one and the same thing. But again, it depends what technique you're using. The breath is the thing that's going to give you that instant feeling of, whoa, that changed. The meditation as an exercise is a more subtle thing over a longer period of time. You can still like get that shot of it, shot of the feel-good hormones, not all the time. The breath is guaranteed to make you feel better every single time. So what I talk to parents about, when I talk to, burnt out adults is we need to find the time just to focus on your breath. And you get the eye roll. It's not like all these meditation guys talk about their breath.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because we've been conditioned into not valuing it. Because if we value it, then we start breaking out of the prison, right? And we start breaking out of these cycles of distress. So we can become focused on our breath anytime we want. So there's a few different things I'll talk about with different parents, depending on where they're at. A good general one, just for the listeners, is you want to notice where the breath is going. So when we say take a deep breath, we probably are sending distress signals to the brain. When you're in fight or flight, you need as much energy as you can. So the breath wants to be converted into oxygen as quickly as it can. That's a shallow breath into the top of the lungs. And that's how most of us breathe. So this will mean the rib cage moves.
I'm so conscious now of how I'm breathing while you're talking. I'm like...
Yeah, and you can see people start to, even the ones that have sort of rolled their eyes when I started talking about the breath, you can see them start to hone in a little bit more because we've always got the breath. The breath is free. We don't need to pay anyone anything. We don't need to export our well-being for any of this stuff. We've got all the skills that we need. And as soon as you start talking about the breath in this mechanical way, it clicks in our brains, especially in the Western culture, because that's how we think. We like things to be logical. We like things to be step by step. Yeah. So even just becoming aware of where your breath is traveling to in the lungs is an amazing place to start. We're not even talking about breathing yet. We're just talking about noticing what's happening. And so the top first is a distress breath. A base first is a eustress breath, and that opens up what's eustress. Eustress is the healthy side of stress. Stress isn't a bad thing. It's just a byproduct of doing. But when distress isn't a bad thing, it gets us out of dangerous situations, but it becomes...
Not if we're living there 24/7.
Exactly. It becomes very unhealthy if we're stuck there. And most of us have set up our camps in distress.
And it's even like the fight or flight response. That's not for an everyday occurrance.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But people are living switched on with that.
So we normalize living in a state of distress. Over 70% of us have. And again, that explains why we're the burnt out nation. So again, coming back to that means that everything that my body is doing it in a state of distress. So I need to start knocking down those dominoes. And it's just one domino at a time. The best domino, like that domino that sits in the middle and then spreads out all the other ones, is the breath. So that's why it's so important just to start there. Most of us make the mistake of like jumping, knowing nothing about meditation, jumping in, putting in the headphones, pressing play, closing our eyes, expecting the mind to just go quiet magically, even though you've closed your eyes in a state of distress. Once you've closed your eyes, you're going to naturally become more aware of what's going on internally. That is loud and full of distress. People are out straight away because it's too full on. Yeah. Why would you want it?
Yeah.
So you need to first warm up. That's why warming up for the exercise is so important. And the breath will help the nervous system meet you at where you need to be at. Whereas without the warm up, you're just jumping in with a distressed and agitated and heightened nervous system. So when you are breathing in a eustressed way, it's down the bottom of the lungs. So this is where the belly breathing sort of comes into it. But again, the mistake people make is that we should be using muscles to push our bellies out. We're not using any muscles when we breathe. All we do is just inhale, and optimally we want to be breathing right into the base of the lungs, which means there's little movement through the rib cage and the shoulders, and there's a whole lot of movement in the hips and the belly, because the belly, not because you're pushing it out, it's extending to make room for the lungs, and the diaphragm, the muscle that sits under the lungs, is descending as well. Very few of us breathe like that naturally when we're just in our day doing our thing, because we are conditioned into distress. So the body thinks we're in a state of distress, so to breathe and send distress messages via the breath. Just start there. Yeah. Notice where you're breathing to and focus on the point that you're breathing. Then once you practice that a little bit, you can start sitting for just 90 seconds. You rate yourself from 1 to 10. So 1 is eustressed, so feeling totally calm, totally great. 10 is distressed, feeling chaotic, right? Worst that you can feel.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah. So you can rate yourself on that scale. It can take a long time for some people to even do that. Like, that's not a thing that we're used to doing. So once you've got your you rated yourself on your scale, and I call that rate, you need to rate your state. It's collecting information for you, data. So after you have done that, you just watch the breath for 90 seconds. You don't control it. You don't try and change it. You just watch it. And again, the science shows that you will drop anywhere between 1 and 2 perceived stress points. So you will perceive your stress to be either one score lower or 2 scores lower, just from watching the breath after 90 seconds. And that again proves how busy we are. We don't spend enough time just observing and watching. We always have to be doing. And that is firing up that distress. That is firing up the nervous system that is already in a state of distress.
And tell me one person that can't find 90 seconds.
Exactly. You can do it anywhere. Like, even if you're on the phone, like, even whatever, even especially if you're writing a text, right? Working on the emails, just come back to the breath, even if it's just once a day. Yeah. So again, that's where I start with.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. So, and kids can learn that too.
Yeah.
That,
kids are the best at it. It was mind blowing to me how many kids had already been conditioned into that distress, top heavy breathing.
Well, it's interesting because I went back years ago and had singing lessons, and I had to learn how to breathe because I was a shallow breather. I didn't even know how to breathe into my diaphragm.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, literally. And I learned to breathe properly through singing lessons.
Yeah, exactly.
So really interesting. Okay, so powerful. So you left teaching. Yeah? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, where your passion points are,
Yeah.
Because I did see a bit of a YouTube clip with you singing and dancing, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to hear about that. And I want, our listeners to be able to kind of find you.
Yeah. So in at the end of 2020, I was asked to come and work for to come work in the corporate world. And the idea was that we would run this program all through South Australia.
The meditation program.
Yeah, the meditation program. Yeah. I had the data. I had the anecdotal data to show that it worked. If anyone's listening and knows how to get quality data around well-being, please let me know. Yeah, because it is so tricky to get quality data that people will look at, that corporations will look at and think, that is hard data. Yeah. Because there's just so much obviously incorporated into a person's well-being. You can never definitively say that was meditation. And it never is definitively meditation, but meditation is the glue that holds everything together. So we had a lot of great anecdotal data. We had a lot of, all the staff had gone through the training by the end of it because they saw what was happening to their peers. So we had all of this ready to go. And we just were unable to find a sponsor. So the sponsor fell through. So we were trying to do it in different avenues. And then that led me to exploring different avenues. And I worked with just some, one of the best jobs I had was for a company called Connect Education, trauma-based company that gets onto the floor with early children, like childcare centers. And so I was on the floor with these educators, like showing them how to use these skills in real time and teaching them trauma-informed approaches. showed me again, it kind of connected me back into the classroom in a way, like this works. And again, that was like throughout this whole period of time, I'm trying to figure out work-life balance because I'm so passionate about what had become now the mission of normalizing meditation, not just in education, but across everywhere.
Yeah.
Once you become so passionate about something, it's very easy to be a little bit weak and let the balance get a bit top heavy. Again, with that consistent meditation, you're able to figure out where that balance is. So I just kept sort of shifting things and finding things. And so, fast forward to today, I'm focused on my business now, which has always been there. I started back in 2020 or 2019, where families were coming to me and they were saying, well, my kid is loving this. Like, can you teach me? And then people in my hometown as well were wanting to meditate. So I realized, well, this isn't just for schools. This is for everyone. So that's how the business started, as this authentic desire to just teach it and get it out there. So being co-meditation has been with me since the start, but it's always been sort of poked around the edges.
Yeah.
So now I've sort of stepped in to this understanding that, yes, normalizing meditation is my mission. That's what I'm passionate about. That's my purpose. I've spent, 6 years not only meditating myself, but seeing what the impact can be.
Yeah.
So what I'm focused on now is just anything that helps normalize meditation.
So that's in the corporate space, that's in education, that's with individuals.
Yeah.
And you've got this YouTube channel for kids.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got Makey Kids on YouTube.
Makey, M-A-K.
M-A-Y-K-E-Y.
Right.
And again, meditation is one of the focuses. So we talk about, for kids, we're talking about mindfulness making and, like using your imagination.
Right.
And it's been so much fun. And it's not something I ever would have done in that past life pre-meditation because it's silly.
Well, when I saw you, I was like, he's got some moves. I think it's like a bit of a Wiggles feel.
That's right. Yeah. And it's trying to normalize these skills with families and kids in their home because I have probably a toxic relationship with devices. I don't like them in schools.
Don't we all?
Yeah, I know, right? As an educator, I don't like them in schools. I have just seen too much to just to say that they're helpful. So for me, it's just been this balance of, we know that kids are on these devices. Let's start trying to filter through a message of calmness, of groundedness,
giving them the tools to be able to manage the
device. Yeah, that's right. So we've got really simple videos about base first breathing, because I don't really use different language for kids and adults. We're all humans. We've all got the same bodies. It's all the same mechanisms. But obviously, there's like more flair to make your kids than when I'm doing a workshop in the corporate world. Yeah. So it's again the same skills, and it's for me now. It's all about having fun. So I've finally gotten to the point where I can say, yes, I have something for everyone.
Yep.
And whatever you're looking for, it's basically all the same. It's just you can access it in a different way. Because if you can't access it, then you're never going to hit consistency.
Correct.
Yeah.
So amazing. I've learned so much. That 8 minutes, I'm on it.
Beautiful.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to my singing lesson. Like that. I'm so grateful, and I know that there'll be people that have listened to this and gone, okay, I need to try. I need to try. And I love that we've debunked, the norm of this.
Yes.
And just making it a little bit more accessible for everyone. It doesn't just have to be a type of person that's into that.
That's right.
Right?
Exactly.
So, I'm so grateful. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
People are going to be able to find your link, and hopefully you get connected, because I think this is a really important message, which I knew when I was setting this up. You're on the list because, I wanted to learn more, and you've certainly educated me today. So I'm grateful. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me. And what you're doing is amazing. Just having this platform to have these conversations is what people need. It might just be the turning point.
You never know. 90 seconds and 8 minutes.
That's right.
That's what we're about. All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
If you made it to the end of this podcast, congratulations. And I'm so thankful. Make sure you put it in your diary. Every 2 weeks, an episode drops with great content, great humans, with great stories and information that hopefully can support you. If this podcast reminded you of someone in your life that absolutely needs to hear it, send them the link. They'll thank you later.